Hello there. I had promised to make a video about illegal immigrants and the right to asylum because there are many terms mixed up in the comments all the time. Although this differs just in very small details, the broader line is protected by international law. And that's why I will explain this to you today using the example of Germany, where, as you all know already, I sit in front of the camera for you every single day. Illegal entry means the immigration of a foreign national into a country in violation of the regulations and the laws of that country. Here in Germany, unauthorized entry, also known as illegal entry or illegal immigration, is regulated in Section 14 of the Residence Act. Accordingly, a foreigner is considered to have unauthorized entry or illegal entry if he or she is A, not in possession of the required identification papers, or B, does not have a residence permit, or C, only holds a visa because he obtained it through threats, bribery, or collusion, or obtained it surreptitiously by providing false or incomplete information, or D, has already been expelled in accordance with the provisions of Section 11 of the Residence Act and is therefore not allowed to stay in the country. And it looks similar in Britain. If there is an illegal entry, the foreigner concerned must expect various legal consequences. He can initially be rejected immediately. In such cases, the matter is usually not prosecuted criminally here in Germany. An exception to all those rules is a refugee who comes from an area or country where his life or freedom was threatened and who applies for asylum immediately after entering the country. Refugees are therefore privileged. The right to asylum is enshrined in the so-called Geneva Refugee Convention. According to this, collective expulsions are not permitted and no one may be deported or expelled or extradited to a state where he or she faces a serious risk of the death penalty, of torture, or any other inhumane or degrading punishment or treatment. Many right-wing hardliners like to invoke Article 31, and this states, the contracting states will not impose penalties for unlawful entry or residence against refugees who came directly from an area where their life or liberty was threatened within the meaning of Article 1 and who enter the territory of the contracting states without a permit or staying there, provided that they report immediately to the authorities and present reasons justifying their unlawful entry or stay. But firstly, the refugees must be given the opportunity to justify their actions under the rule of law. And secondly, it says nowhere that they can be sent back to the country in which they last stayed. They can apply for admission to another country themselves, but coming back to our UK case, the UK government has no right to send them back to France. And France has absolutely no obligation under the convention to take them back. And as far as France is concerned, many English hardliners often mistakenly refer to and even quote the Dublin Agreement or the Dublin Regulation. Yes, it's correct. According to the Dublin Regulation, the country responsible for receiving and accommodating the refugee is where they first arrived, in the country where they first entered the EU, the European Union. Because this agreement only applies to the EU. The UK has left the EU and has absolutely nothing to do with the Dublin Regulation anymore. No country has any obligation under this regulation to the British, and also not the French. So as you can see, entry via the English Channel in small boats is actually illegal entry the way it's done now. But that has no impact on the privileges granted to refugees seeking asylum. This may play a role later on some details in the whole process of the asylum process, as you heard earlier, but initially has no impact on these people being able to apply for asylum in the UK and having a right to have their case examined. And incidentally, there is nothing in the whole convention that even remotely allows for anything like the British Rwanda deal. On the contrary, as I already had quoted earlier in this video. I hope I was able to bring some clarity to this topic so that no one complains that I'm still calling them illegal entries or illegal immigrants, and about their right to claim asylum. And I'll see you in my next video. I'll be back.